Step into the Timberwolves' defensive fortress and witness the defensive maestro, Rudy Gobert, redefine rim protection and transform Minnesota into a defensive juggernaut poised for championship glory. With Gobert leading the charge, opponents face an uphill battle as they encounter the ultimate defensive deterrent in their quest for NBA supremacy. A game changer for the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves have emerged as the NBA's top defensive unit this season, largely due to the formidable presence of Rudy Gobert, who continues to validate his status with 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards under his belt. With Gobert anchoring their defense, the Timberwolves are stifling opponents to just 105 points per 100 possessions, and limiting them to an effective field goal percentage of only 49%. Observing any Timberwolves game this season makes it evident why these defensive metrics are so impressive. When discussing Gobert's defensive prowess, his interior defense immediately comes to mind, a skill that has defined his career thus far. However, this season has seen a slight shift in Gobert's defensive responsibilities. He showcased increased mobility and versatility, demonstrating his ability to cover more ground on the defensive end. A prime example of Gobert's defensive impact was witnessed during their recent matchup against OKC in the in-season tournament. OKC, known for their relentless drives to the basket, faced resistance from Gobert's presence. In a critical possession, as Shai drove towards the rim, Gobert adeptly slid over to deter any attempts in the paint. This defensive pressure forced a kick-out to Isaiah Joe, whose corner three-point attempt was thwarted, showcasing Gobert's ability to disrupt opponents' offensive flow. On the subsequent possession, OKC secures the rebound and begins to move the ball around the perimeter until it finds Dort, who initially appears open. However, Gobert swiftly closes out on him, dissuading any potential spot-up three-point attempts. When Dort attempts to drive past the closeout, Gobert stays glued to his hip, denying any easy layup opportunities. Dort kicks it out to Aaron Wiggins, but with OKC players reluctant to challenge Gobert in the paint, the ball eventually finds its way back to Dort in the corner, resulting in a missed shot and a turnover in favor of Minnesota. In the ensuing defensive sequence, we witness a stellar display of defense from Gobert. As Shai once again attempts to drive, Gobert steps in to help, seemingly leaving Chet with an open three-pointer. However, Gobert's improved mobility allows him to quickly close out on Chet, disrupting the shot and forcing him into a difficult hook attempt, which misses. Shai retrieves the rebound and finds Chet once more, but Gobert's aggressive closeout forces Chet to hesitate and eventually pass. Notably, Gobert's sideways closeout enables him to maintain lateral movement with Chet, leading to a turnover as Chet is forced to pass to Isaiah Joe. As the shot clock winds down, Gobert contests the shot, forcing a miss. In another defensive scenario, Edwards and Towns defend the pick and roll at the top of the key. Towns employs a soft hedge, prompting Gobert to rotate to cover the roll man. Opposing teams often attempt to exploit the weak side corner left open by Gobert's help defense, but his improved mobility allows him to contest and even block shots from that position. This enhanced mobility also proves valuable against elite ball handlers, like Steph Curry, as Gobert can pressure them into less favorable offensive options. Redefining rim protection. When forced to switch onto ball handlers in pick-and-roll situations, Gobert's imposing frame still poses a challenge, discouraging opponents from attacking the basket and often forcing them into low-percentage shots. While Gobert may not be hailed as the most versatile center in the league, his success operating away from the paint this season is noteworthy. Tracking data confirms that Gobert ranks among the top centers in terms of defensive ground covered, underscoring his significant defensive contributions. A crucial aspect of Gobert's defensive prowess lies in his ability to deter opponents from driving to the rim. This concept, often referred to as rim deterrence, highlights Gobert's dominance as a defensive force. Teams actively avoid attempting shots near the rim when Gobert is patrolling the paint, a testament to his impact on the defensive end. Throughout his career, Gobert has established himself as one of the most formidable rim deterrents in the NBA. This possession exemplifies Gobert's ability to influence opponents' shot selection simply by his presence. As Gobert slides over from the weak side along the baseline, the offensive player is forced to abandon attempts at attacking the rim and instead opts for a kick-out to the corner. Even when an opponent manages to navigate past Gobert's closeout, they are acutely aware of his defensive prowess, leading them to settle for contested shots well outside the restricted area. In another instance, as Mark Williams attempts to maneuver around Gobert on the short roll, he quickly realizes the futility of his efforts and instead resets the offense. When Hayward attacks off a pass, he recognizes Gobert's looming presence and refrains from attempting to penetrate further into the paint. opting to pass the ball back out. This defensive pressure ultimately results in a missed three-pointer, underscoring Gobert's ability to disrupt opponents' offensive rhythm. Gobert's capacity to stay with opposing players as they drive to the basket is a testament to his defensive acumen, forcing them to reconsider their shot attempts and often leading to suboptimal offensive outcomes for the opposition. When Gobert finds himself switched onto opponents, his presence makes it arduous for them to execute their intended plays around the rim. Instead, they often resort to attempting shots from further out, settling for challenging turnaround jumpers rather than high-percentage layups. Even when opponents manage to get to the rim against Gobert, his exceptional shot blocking and shot contesting abilities significantly decrease their chances of success. Rudy Gobert's impact on the Timberwolves' title aspirations. A key factor in the Timberwolves' defensive success this season is their proficiency in limiting opponents' scoring inside the paint. They boast one of the league's top defenses inside the arc, holding opponents to percentages well below the league average at both the rim and in the mid-range. This aspect of Gobert's game not only enhances the defensive capabilities of his teammates, but also allows for strategic rotations, knowing Gobert is present to clean up any defensive breakdowns. The reluctance of opposing teams to attack the rim when Gobert is on the floor is evident in the significant drop in shot frequency at the rim when he is playing compared to when he is on the bench. Furthermore, when Gobert shares the court with Jaden McDaniels, opponents' attempts at the rim plummet even further, highlighting the defensive impact of this duo. Comparing Gobert's current level of rim deterrence to his previous Defensive Player of the Year seasons reveals that he is performing at an elite level in terms of deterring shots and protecting the rim. This season, he is showcasing some of the best rim protection of his career, thanks in part to the defensive personnel surrounding him in Minnesota. The Timberwolves' defensive prowess this season, spearheaded by Gobert, has positioned them as legitimate contenders for a title. While it's premature to declare any individual the Defensive Player of the Year at this stage of the season, Gobert's stellar performance certainly puts him in contention for the award. Outro. As we conclude our exploration of Rudy Gobert's defensive mastery and its transformative impact on the Timberwolves' title aspirations, one thing is abundantly clear. Gobert's presence redefines the very fabric of defense in the NBA. As the season unfolds, watch closely as Gobert and the Timberwolves continue to defy expectations and carve their path to greatness. Don't miss a moment of the action as we witness history in the making with one of the league's most formidable defensive units. Thanks for joining us on this journey, and until next time, stay tuned for more thrilling basketball insights and analysis.